Whenever I come across such questions and the online answers, I feel the urge to set the record straight. I was going to do it later, in chronological order, but since we talked about standardization of the Chinese written words in the previous video, let's do it now and see how China standardized the pronunciation of the written words. First, let me rephrase those questions for you. If you chuckled, you got it. Here are the correct statements. The official language of China is Chinese. Chinese people read, write and speak Chinese. Chinese spoken the proper way is called Putonghua, or common speech. It is the standard Chinese pronunciation that children learn in school, the way newscasters speak on radio and TV, and actors speak in movies. In addition to Putonghua, there are many local and regional dialects. Guangdonghua, or Cantonese, is one of them. Guangdong is China's Guangdong province. Hua means speech. Guangdonghua is speaking Chinese with a very heavy accent. It is a dialect, a variety of the Chinese language, not a language in itself. Think of the way English is spoken in New England, New York City, Alabama, or Texas. They may sound different, but they are still English. There are other languages in China. Some of China's 56 ethnic groups have their own languages. Here we're only talking about the official Chinese language, also called Han language. Han is the majority ethnic group in China. Putonghua, or common speech, is based on northern dialects. Over 90% of Chinese people speak or understand Putonghua. Many switch freely between Putonghua and their local dialect. Wish I could do that. My parents speak Beijing dialect. I myself only speak Putonghua, with a hint of a Beijing accent. And Putonghua is what English speakers refer to, erroneously, as Mandarin. Here is why. In the year 1421, exactly 600 years ago, Emperor Zhu of the Ming Dynasty moved China's capital from the southern city of Nanjing to the northern city of Beijing. The entire government moved, including all the officials. The dialect the officials spoke was distinctly different from the local dialect, so their dialect became known as Guanhua, or speech of officials. Guanhua was what the word Mandarin referred to. European visitors called the Ming Dynasty officials Mandarins, a Portuguese word that means ministers, and called Guanhua Mandarin. Guanhua was made the official speech by the Qing government, which later discarded the outdated term in favor of Guoyu, or national speech. In the 1950s, a new version of national speech was adopted and was named Putonghua. By then, through many changes and versions over the years, Putonghua was no longer the Guanhua of the Ming and Qing dynasties. So you see, Guanhua, or Mandarin, no longer exists. Putonghua is not Guanhua. It sounds different from Guanhua, and it is not the speech of officials, but the official, standard speech of the whole country. Even if you insist on calling Putonghua Mandarin, you must know that Mandarin is not a language. It's a form of speech. It's the standard way the Chinese language is spoken. Now let's go back to the questions. By now you already know the official language of China is Chinese, and Mandarin is erroneously used for Putonghua, standard Chinese speech. The language you should learn is Chinese. And when you learn Chinese, you will be taught the proper way to pronounce the Chinese words, and you will be speaking Putonghua. No ESL class will teach foreign students how to speak like a Nua Yoga. By the same token, no Chinese class will teach you how to talk like a Cantonese, unless you are a linguist specializing in it. Again, Mandarin no longer exists. When it did, it referred to a form of speech. Do you speak it, not read or write it? Cantonese is not a language. It is a dialect of the Chinese language. In short, if you want to tell people you speak the language Chinese people speak, say you speak Chinese. The only time you need to mention Putonghua is when a Chinese speaks a dialect you don't understand. More than likely it won't happen, because Chinese people would switch to Putonghua when they talk to a foreigner, knowing full well no foreigner would learn their dialect. Here is a Chinese map I've drawn up to help you understand how important Putonghua is. The red star is Beijing, China's capital. Changjiang, the Long River or the Yangtze River, is the longest river in China, and Huanghe, the Yellow River, the second longest. In the middle of the eastern part of China, and between the two rivers, stands Jinling, an incredible mountain range that runs east-west, blocking cold air from coming down south and warm air from going up north. The area to the north of Jinling and the Huai River is referred to as the north, and the area to the south of them, the south. The western part of China is referred to as the west. Altogether, there are 28 provinces in China, with 4 municipalities and 2 special administrative regions inside the physical borders of the provinces. Each has developed its own dialect or dialects. The main reason for that is the lack of mobility in old times, which was preferred and promoted throughout history by a farming civilization. Stay home, farm the land, take care of your elders. Thanks to Putonghua, we understand one another across China. In general, city people tend to speak with little or no accent, so that the diverse population can communicate, while country people, especially those from far-flung areas, cling to their accent, because everyone around them speaks the same thing, so why bother? If we all speak our local dialects, then as a northerner, I understand 100% of the dialects spoken in Beijing, its vicinity, and the provinces to its north. For the rest of the north, I understand about 70 to 90%. Of course, there are exceptions. For example, I thought I understood people from Shandong province no problem, until one day I met a family who spoke among themselves in a dialect totally unintelligible to me. They were from Shandong. So there are pockets of the province where people speak with heavier accent. It is the same with all the provinces. Further away from Beijing, I understand about 50 to 70%. Even further away, such as the provinces of Sichuan, Hubei, and Hunan, probably 20 to 50%. 10% Shanghai and surrounding areas, and that's being generous. The rest of the southern, coastal and island provinces, 5%. That includes Guangdong province where Cantonese is spoken. Note that in all cases, people are simply pronouncing the same words differently. If the first emperor of Qin did not standardize the written words, the dialects probably would have developed into different languages. So thank you, sir. There are noticeable differences between the north and the south. One of the differences is the influence of Confucius' teachings. Confucius' thinking reflects the priorities of a farming civilization. If your parents are alive, stay home, work the land, and take care of your parents, otherwise you're not doing your filial duty. This may have resonated with people in agricultural regions, mainly the north, but not so much in other areas, especially the hilly coastal areas of Guangdong and Fujian provinces, where there was little arable land for the dense population, and people fished or traded handicrafts for a living. Far from the political and cultural center of China, and with fewer inhibitions, they tend to follow their survival instinct. Conditions there worsened considerably after the Opium War of 1840, when Britain trafficked into China gunboats upon gunboats of opium and forced open Chinese port cities for trade. To feed the family, the young and the desperate poor bid goodbyes to their loved ones and, carrying the hope of the whole family, braved the roaring seas in search of work. Many landed in Southeast Asian countries, some came to America, all brought their home tongue with them. To peoples of many countries, Guangdonghua, or Cantonese, was the first dialect they heard out of China. That is certainly the case in the United States. A labor shortage brought in the Chinese workers. Many were tricked by hiring agencies with promises of high pay, big house and happy life in the land where everyone was rich. Some were kidnapped off the street. For even for the desperate, America, a place they had never heard before, was just too darn far away. More than 60% perished at the sea. Those who survived did the hardest work building America's railways. Half died. But when the work was done, they were rewarded with the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 and systemic discrimination, which drove them to huddle near city halls and police headquarters in large cities, in the hope that the overwhelming police presence would deter the criminal elements in the surrounding communities. In those places, known as Chinatowns, they pooled their meager resources and opened non-competition businesses such as hand laundries and Chinese restaurants. And the rest is history. Guangdonghua, or Cantonese, stayed the Chinese dialect that the average American could hear right up to the 1980s, when students poured in from China. The majority of those students spoke Putonghua. That's why, today, the dialect spoken by those brave, industrial Guangdong people, the dialect that is one out of many local dialects in China, has the honor of being mentioned in the same breath as Putonghua. Many even believe, mistakenly, that Guangdonghua is a language in itself. Now that that is settled, let's go back to the written words and see how they are formed. Here is a pair of vacant eyes. Lips pressed together, pursed. A drop of tear. And we know it's a person. And this ad word is cry. Here's another pair of eyes, smiley eyes. Lips curled upwards and parted. And it's a person too. This happy word is laugh. This is just one of the ways Chinese characters are formed. Here are more examples. This word is mouth. This one's sky. If you have a big mouth, as big as the sky, then you can swallow everything. And this word is swallow. This word is sun. This one moon. The two characters together is bright, of course. This word is field. And this is might, force, or labor. The major workforce in the field is male. And this word is male. Again, this word is field. And we know it's usually a man working the field. Now look at this dude. Strong farmhand, in the field, not using his might. Why? He's got something on his mind. This word is heart. Or figuratively, mind. In the field, going over something on his mind. If that's not thinking, I don't know what is. And this word is think. This word is female, we already know that. It's also short for daughter. This is son. It can also mean male. Having both sons and daughters is good. A man and a woman making a family is good. And this word is good. Oh, those two, as a two-character word, means female or woman. Isn't that amazing? So a boy and a girl is good. A man and a woman is good. Just us girls is also good.